Okay, Mr. Yari Kimo, over here. Okay, all the way from Israel, an innovation guru.
Take the cigarette foil from the cigarette pack and put in the lady's hand.
It's warm.
You cannot hold it anymore? Suppose I didn't do what I just did. Probably your reaction would have been, that's impossible. But I wanted to show you that the impossible can be possible as the exact idea of our meeting. I wanted you to think about the way we think in order to increase our creative thinking, as you'll see later on. In this presentation was sort of a simulation of our controlled thinking, that how surprisingly ended in an irrational result. That's a thing that we cannot accept rationally. In this narrow path between the rational and the irrational, we'll go today in order to gain some intellectual enrichments that will enable us to improve our creativity in a way that it's not dependent on skill or inspiration, but can be adapted by each of you. The square can be less square, but also the creative can be more creative than he is if he is equipped with the right techniques that I'll share with you later on. Everything that you'll see, including the energy and the telepathy and so on, doesn't need any parapsychological powers. Everything is just faults of our controlled rational thinking. Please pick any number between 1 and 100. Share with the people, what did you pick? 20. 20. If here 20 is written, will you say that it was obvious? Because in this case, change it now. Please, Jason.
I predict that you will say, as if of a free will, but with no choice, the number 20.
Thank you. Thank you. How much is it together? Together, please. All of you? 5,000. Why I could predict that 90% plus, here 100%, will say 5,000 and be wrong. It's not a test of mathematical challenge. It is a live creation of fixation. We rely on experience, all of us, and it's good enough. But at the moment that we face new challenge that doesn't have any precedent in our past experience, we need new abilities to be much more flexible in the path from well-established experience and new challenge that doesn't have any precedent in our past experience. So I would say that our experience, that all of us share, is like the flashlight tied to our back and lights our past. It doesn't necessarily light our future if there is new challenge, as we said. Danny's mother had 3 kids, A, B, and Danny, not C, Danny. Danny's mother, right? We listen to what we expect should be the question and not to the question. What is the name of the tool or the mean that we use to see very remote stars? Telescope, yeah. I see all the rest of you became very cautious. Yeah. Now, what is the name of the tool that we use to see very small creatures? Microscope. What is the tool that we use to see from a submarine? Periscope, right. What is the tool or the mean that we use to see through a wall? Window. Somebody told me holoscope. In China, there were 2 kids. One was called Ping, the other one called Pong. What kind of game did they invent? Immediately we think about ping pong, but maybe they invented chess or backgammon. Not every child that is called ping or pong has to invent what we expect him to invent. I would like all of you, and speak out loudly, to count from 10 to 1 in reverse, please, now. Okay, the problem was that you didn't listen to the challenge. 10 to 1 in reverse is 1, 2, 3. We don't listen to the question, we listen to the question that we think should be the question, according to our experience. I would like to transform this energy to an ultra banana laser beam. You just take this, and you see that there is no illusion. The fire is on the hand. Now I don't touch the banana, I'm just using the ultra banana laser beam. Peel the banana, and if something happens, show the audience, please. It's not just, yeah, it is cut. Yeah. You see, you come to the house of Joseph, he doesn't use any more plates and washing dishes and so on. He just peel the banana and ask you, would you like to have, okay. Okay, thank you very much. Nobody saw any fire cause any effect of the banana. It was artificially caused in our mind. And a lot of times we tend to combine variables that we don't have to do so. And it's another fixation that lies within our conception of cause and effect. You should pay attention to the point that in these small questions of Danny's mother and so on, some of you answered correctly. Why? Because we have a siege of 20 or 25 minutes over on our fixations, and they become softened. It's immediate production. Some of you changed their way of thinking from fixation to at least suspecting in our way of thinking. 20 minutes. We put all our skills, or our intelligence, all our experience, all our abilities to play in the wrong arena. So can it be different? No dimension. That it is a tool in the toolbox of creative thinking that I would like to share with you right now. This is a lady, okay, the cigarette. I put the woman here. I cut her to 3 pieces. How do we know that she was cut? Because each piece is in the air, no connection between them. But in slow motion, in front of your eyes, she becomes whole. This is the magic. The explanation. Here are 3 particles, 3 pieces. The lady is outside, still she is cut. So now, you remember what we told about the accurate question that we have to ask? Now the question is not how we cut the woman and made her whole again. Now the question is, where is the missing lady? Of course, the missing lady has just one place, and this is this one. And that was the no dimension up to 2 minutes ago. We see that the impossible can be possible, because the no dimension explains it. But what is the connection to life? Up till a few years ago, all the international calls from Israel before satellite went through huge cables under the sea and went all over the world. The capacity of the cable is 100,000 calls. An Israeli engineer from ECI Telecom, an Israeli company, backed by an American investment, asked each signal of the words needs some electronic energy. But we need also a certain amount of energy to keep the signals of the silence, of the listening. Can we use this silence in order to fill it up with new signals of words? And the answer was yes. This is a basic idea of condensing that most of you are familiar with it with no trouble as part of your life. But at that time, it was a complete breakthrough 20 years ago. And in fact, they not just doubled the capacity of the cable by 2 without adding any infrastructure, just by using the no dimension, which means the no conversation, which means the silence between the words. They actually used the new sentences to have new silences, so they actually increased it by 5. There are dozens of techniques like that. If you cannot fight a wall of 3 meters, maximize it. Not by 30%, because then you are staying the more of the same zone. Try to maximize it by thousands of percents, by millions of them, in order to force yourself to think differently. I'll give you an example. You want to make brandy or cognac. How do you do so? You put some kind of alcohol within an oak barrel. You wait 30 years till the molecules of the barrel and the alcohol will blend, and then you get a good brandy with the smell and the look and so on, and the taste. Do we have 30 years to wait? No, not nowadays. So why not taking an oak barrel, shredding it to very small pieces, and put all the small pieces within a new oak barrel, putting it, an alcohol in it, wait 1 year till all the liquid will come in touch with all the oak pieces, and to filter the pieces out of a ready-made brandy after 1 year, it's much easier than to wait another 29 years. And that is the way that brandy is produced. Now, I don't know you personally, but I know what all of us share. We are slaves of time. We are pressured by our bosses, by our missions, by our clients, by our conscience. We are pressured. We have to be on time, and it's very difficult. Look what happened here using this technique, how we saved 29 years out of 30 just by using simple technique, that's it. And there are dozens more. In the last few years, I developed this kit that is called the Think Outside the Box. And it's based on all kinds of riddles. If you cannot solve the problem, you raise this moving part and you see the fixation, why you cannot solve it. Usually it fits your original way of thinking. You raise it a bit more and you see the clue why you can solve it. And then you turn and you see the solution. And then you lower this part and you see the food for thought. What have you learned out of all this process? In Israel, there were 6 people that were burned to death because a terrible fire chased them with a very fast wind, and they escaped, but it didn't help. The wind and the fire were faster. This is a question. Could they have survived? Fixation says no, because just now you said that the wind and the fire were faster, so it's impossible. Clue, the fire can be also a friend, not just an enemy. Solution, instead of escaping and running away, light a fire by yourself here. Let the terrible wind carry the fire to this direction, burning you sort of a shelter that you can move to. When the real fire will come within a few minutes, it cannot burn the same place twice. It will be stopped here. You are there already, you are safe. Problem is solved. Solution and food for thought, using the Aikido way of thinking, the Judo way of thinking. You use the power of your opponent to defeat him. You use the power of the problem to solve it. In this case, you use the power of the fire and the wind to solve the problem of the fire and the wind. It's a wonderful system that works very good in a lot of aspects, including yours, technological, managerial, and the marketing. I want to show you this spoon, okay? This famous spoon. Can we... Okay. This is the impossible, but because this presentation is called The Impossible is Possible, this is the possible. Okay. Right? Now we don't need any more this one, just like this. Okay. Thank you. So if you'll take one grain of an idea from what I spoke about today, maybe this grain can grow and have some kind of benefit to yourselves, to your company, to your clients. And if that happens, you'll be happy. And if you are happy, I'm happy too. Thank you very much. Thank you.